Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Annabelle from BioBuzz. I'm super happy to have you guys all here today for another one of our Career Catalyst sessions. It's part of our weekly series where we can connect with emerging talent, connect you guys with leaders. So today we have Angel, we have Aaliyah, and we have Paris. We have three today, so that's great. These sessions are designed to spark ideas, build real connections, and give you guys a little bit of insight to help you navigate your own path in the industry. And today's session is going to be focused on networking with a purpose. So kind of looking beyond the small talk or the cold DMs and really starting to build those meaningful connections and relationships. So you guys are able to create that real momentum in your careers. Before we do dive in, I do want to give a big thank you to our sponsor, BioTrack, for sponsoring today's session. With expert-led training workshops, they've helped over 17,000 scientists level up their skills. Definitely check them out. BioTrack is a great go-to resource for professional development, career development. Highly recommend checking them out at biotrack.com. And also, this session today is part of the BioBuzz Talent Lab. So if you haven't joined, join today, join the beta testing of that. It's a great resource for career development. We have jobs on there, and you can access programs and events like this. So highly recommend going on there to biobuzz.io. All right, so I want to introduce our great, incredible early career professionals that we have on this call today that are going to be talking and presenting a little bit on this great topic. They have a unique perspective on what it means to build your network with intention. So we have Angel Boardley. She's recently come on as the BioHealth Capital Region Fellow at BioBuzz and is an incoming MS in Law candidate at Northwestern. She has experience across lab research, venture capital, and science policy. And Angel is super passionate about navigating the space where science meets impact. Next, we have Aaliyah Clinton, who's a material science engineer and founder of Manaya Engineered Materials, a startup focused on sustainable PPE for STEM professionals. She also is the force behind a nonprofit that inspires the next generation of innovators. And last but not least, I want to introduce Paris McKenzie. Paris is a manufacturing technician at Longevity Neurosolutions and a two-time entrepreneur. After launching her first business at 16, she now works on life-changing neurotech and uses her voice to uplift others in STEM and business. All right, so like I said, today's all about networking. So that can sometimes be pretty daunting to actually put yourself out there. But we're going to talk about kind of the mindset and the strategies to help you build confidence and approach networking in a more authentic, sustainable way. So Angel, Aaliyah, and Paris are going to share kind of what's worked for them, how they've built their own support systems, and then what opportunities it's led to really put that real perspective behind, the often used word of networking. So I'm going to hand it over to Angel to start us off. Angel, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Hi, guys. It's nice to be on the call today and talk to you guys about networking. So, Annabelle, can you go to the slide, my first slide? Okay. So I wanted to start off today by talking about the long-term value of networking. I think a lot of times when people think of networking or how sometimes it's taught is like you want to have like an immediate impact. You want to gain something from it immediately. And I feel like a lot of times you do in many different ways. Like, you can get to know people, you can get to know the industry that you're trying to get to know, and you can gain a lot of insight from people. But I think there's also a lot of value in long-term impacts. And so I put a couple photos on this slide just to kind of show what has happened for me over the years as I've been networking. So the first time I started to really network was about 2 years ago, and it actually was with BioBuzz. There's a picture in the top right corner as a group, and that was the first time that I ever went networking with BioBuzz. We were at Pimlico Racetrack, and that was the first time I was able to kind of get an idea of what the industry's like and what it means to network. And it was absolutely a beautiful opportunity. And I loved it so much that I just kept showing up. I kept showing up to BioBuzz events. I kept showing up to other industry events. And it got to the point where I was able to make a name for myself and I was getting recognized. And I was asked to be on a news channel to talk about my experience in biology at Hood College, which is in the lower left corner. I've also made a lot of like friendships and long lasting relationships. I showed that in here. I was able to get many actually internships through networking over time. It wasn't necessarily immediate, but over time, as people got more familiar with me, as I was able to build trust, I was able to get internships. And one of the internships I had was at the National Cancer Institute, and I was studying HIV research. And so in the lower right corner, I have a little picture of me presenting my research there. And then also, I would say kind of indirectly, but also directly, being able to network for me was able to help me graduate from Hood College, because I was in a position where I had to do everything on my own. At one point I was running my own business. And when I wasn't doing that in school, I was looking for different opportunities to advance myself within the biotech field in the greater life sciences industry. And so I always needed to work in order to, go to school and put myself through school and afford all my life expenses. So being able to connect with people who understood what my background is, what my challenges were, and trying to help me at every step of the way, that really allowed me to be able to graduate. And I'm extremely grateful. So networking has really opened up a lot of opportunities for me. I think we can go to the next slide. So I wanted to talk about also, like, I feel like when it comes to networking, a lot of people, even myself, at one point in time, got overwhelmed by the idea. It's like, what is networking? What do you say? What do you do? And I just really wanted to kind of like bring the anxiety down and just like let you guys know that it really is just having a conversation. And one of the greatest things is that when you go to like network specific, like when you go to industry specific networking events, something that's aligned with what you want to do and what you're interested in, it can be the best, because then you get to have conversations with all these like cool, fun nerds who really like the stuff that you like too, and you can just have conversations about it. And so my takeaway is that you just want to be authentic, be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to like overdo it. Just be yourself and talk about what interests you. And if you have questions, if you're curious, that's the time to ask the questions. You don't need to know everything. That's not the point of networking. I've learned so much since networking, and just being curious and asking questions really can take you a long way. And so the key points here is, again, just focus on connection, not perfection. You don't have to be perfect. That's not the point. You want to ask questions, and when you're asking questions, really listen. Don't just ask questions just to ask them and not really take anything away from them. Really try and listen. Be curious, not trying to sell something all the time. Like, make sure that when you're going into it, try to grow relationships over time. Just like I had showed you in the previous slide, those relationships can really come through for you just at the perfect time when you need it. And also a follow-up message goes a long way. So when you meet people, when you talk with them, if they give you insight to anything, if they give you a contact, always make sure that you try and follow up with those people later, whether that's through email or LinkedIn. That's super important. Okay, I think we can go to the next person now.
Hey everybody, I am Aaliyah Clinton, and I first want to start off by saying thank you, Annabelle and Angel, for this amazing opportunity, and of course BioBuzz and the BioTrack. I I am a two-time founder of Cool Nerds on the Rise and Monet's Engineered Materials, both of which I will be talking about today, how networking has supported me in building out these businesses. Cool Nerds is our educational portion, and Monet's Engineered Materials is our for-profit, where we create sustainable and eco-friendly personal protective equipment for scientists. Next slide, please. So as Angel was speaking about being authentically yourself, and that creates authentic relationships. So first topic I want to talk about is Cool Nerds on the Rise and how I've been able to grow that venture through my authentic relationships. So I'm an athlete and I work out and I enjoy the local events at the YMCA. So I've been to the Y, of course, to work out, just to attend some of their events. They do amazing things, yoga, family events, you name it. The YMCA is lit. So through working out there, I've been there for about, I don't know, maybe like 5 years, and continuously coming, just talking to the workers and the people who are at the gym. I've been able to just, of course, talk a little bit more about what I do and how I've been doing it. And through my conversations with one of the managers, Miss Angie, she was very interested in about what I was doing and wanted me to bring that to the YMCA. So about last year in May, you can see this picture to the left. That was my first time actually connecting with the Y and doing an experiment with Cool Nerds on the Rise. We turned milk into plastic and taught the students about the chemistry behind it, of course, and the differences between plastic. But that connection and that opportunity just came from me working out, talking about what I do, just having great conversations, great laughs. And then a year later, I officially have a partnership with the YMCA where we, in the summertime, springtime, or during the fall, we teach Cool Nerds on the Rise. And our main topics are textile engineering and the chemistry behind that. So being myself, having a good time and talking about what I love, it draw the interest of the YMCA. And now I'm able to teach the youth about how cool it is to be a cool nerd. Next slide, please. And my next topic is defining relationships. So this is my mentor, Tremaine. And October the 23rd was the first time I've actually met him in person. We met in 2022 through an accelerator program called Black Girl Ventures, also known as BGV. And of course, it was virtual. And he was so supportive, like, hey, let me know what you need and I'll be there to support you. So when people say that, you have to, kind of X and create those boundaries. Like, okay, well, what does support look like? What does it mean by anything I need, right? Because I can need a whole lot of things, but what can you support me with? So throughout those conversations with Tremaine, he's been able to support me with, of course, mentorship. He's been an angel investor in my business, and we talk about real life things, right? We have a personal relationship as well as a business relationship. And then fast forward to August 2024, my first ever business event. I had a gala, and he was one of my angel investors, of course, and I was able to award him with, a plaque just saying thank you about all the great things he's been doing to support me and how he's been an amazing mentor. And of course, throughout that building of the event, he's been able to support me with underlining construction about how to even create a host committee so I can plan this event. I had no idea what a host committee was, that I needed a host committee. And he has been very, very instrumental in my growth in business with Monet's Engineered Materials. And that came from having a clear-cut communication about what it is that I need and what areas can he support me with, right? So again, he's been able to support me with mentorship, connections, angel investment, and just he's more like an uncle now, right? He's family. He's very supportive, and all this came from, again, being my authentic self, those authentic relationships, and defining those relationships. So how can I support him, and how can he support me? So thank you all for your time.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paris McKenzie. I am the youngest Black woman to ever open a beauty supply store, and I later opened a salon at 17, and I now work in biotech, actually neuroscience, making sonulucent cranial implants, which allows ultrasound imaging of the brain in real time and allows fluid drainage for patients with certain neurological conditions. Um, I initially started off obviously in the beauty industry and transitioned into biotech. And one of the ways that I did that was by using social media as a career tool for me. My first tip for everyone is to follow the right spaces. I use platforms like LinkedIn to look for networks focused on the industry that I wanted to get into. You can subscribe to free newsletters, follow organizations that you're interested in, or leaders, influential people in your desired field, even if you don't know them personally. That actually can add to the quality of your network, is just adding people, connecting people that you wouldn't usually see around you in real life. Social media gives you the opportunity to connect with others that you usually wouldn't have the opportunity to. So definitely using social media is a very powerful tool. I've shared my story now twice on social media. First, for being the youngest person to ever open a beauty supply store, which you can see in the top photo. It was featured in lots of newsletters, lots of magazines, and it gained lots of exposure. And I was able to go on TV shows like the Tamron Hall Show, which you can see in the photo below. I was able to go on the Tamron Hall Show, Drew Barrymore Show, and many news stations in my area, which furthered my mission of inspiring the youth to do things that, people probably told them that they weren't possible, things that weren't possible to be accomplished. So I want to continue to inspire the youth and share my story and have a great outreach, and social media is one of the greatest ways to do that. I also recently shared my story of graduating university. I just recently got my bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary health and human sciences from Morgan State University. And one of the greatest things I experienced there was failing. It wasn't something that I was used to because I've always been one to strive and succeed. But in college, mental health was something that I started having to pay attention to due to depression. And I fell to a 0.38 GPA and got dismissed from school. But I pulled myself up from the bootstraps and I got my GPA back up, I got reinstated, and I still was able to finish school on time, all while completing 43 credits in one semester and working full time. And sharing my story online has now even more inspired more people in a new area. And social media has allowed me to inspire people to go back to school. It has allowed me to get new connections within BioBuzz, biotech, and Maryland Life Sciences. So social media is very, very impactful. It is a great resource to use in building your social capital, and something that I want everyone to do while using social media to build their social capital is to be proactive, not just reactive. I would say to not wait for opportunities to be posted, but you can visit company websites, find contacts, and send direct messages or emails to someone hiring or in leadership. Also, to tell your story with honesty and authenticity. Sharing your challenges and growth builds connection and trust, and it allows others to relate to you rather than just seeing another post of, everyone doing the same thing. Being authentic, showing your failures, showing when you weren't doing your best, but you found a way to do your best, can really inspire someone and touch them in ways that, just gently grading over your story can do. I personally got my job here at Longevity by finding a company that I really like, their mission, their product, and what they offer to patients. And at the time, there were no current job listings on Indeed and LinkedIn. An important thing to note as well, while building social capital, looking for these jobs, networking, is that a lot of opportunities aren't usually posted sometimes. A lot of companies do have to pay for jobs to be posted on sites like LinkedIn and Indeed. So sometimes they may have the opening, but it may not be found online. So something that I did was go to the company website that I was interested in. I found the direct contact for hiring, which so happened to be the chief administrative officer. And I sent her my resume and a few reasons why I felt like I would be a good fit at the company. And that landed me my job with no experience and also with not even completing my degree. Next, I want to get into feelings that, oh, you can go to the next slide, sorry, yeah. I want to get into building social capital while battling self-doubt, because mental health is something that I struggled with while in undergrad, and it is not something that easily goes away. It's something that you just learn how to manage better. And with receiving all these tips from these amazing other guest speakers, it's easy to hear things and a little bit harder to apply them within your real life. It's a little bit harder to navigate actually using these tips and actually being in the real world. So the first tip I want to give you is to show up before you even feel ready, because confidence grows from action, not the other way around. And if you keep on showing up, your self-belief will follow. If you keep placing yourself in the rooms, even though you're nervous, even though I felt a little bit nervous before joining this call, I still joined, I still showed up, and it gives you the reassurance. Once you show up and once you put yourself in position and you complete that task, you finish going to that event, you learn that you are capable. The confidence will start to come. And I would also like to say to be authentic, be yourself. You're more memorable as yourself. The pressure to conform can dim your presence, it can dim your light, and authenticity is what makes people remember and respect you. People will more remember you from being yourself rather than trying to blend into the crowd. And if you feel out of place, it just means that you're in position to change this space. Being the only one in the room can feel a bit isolating and a bit lonely sometimes when you're entering a new space, a new industry that you haven't been in, or you're entering a space where people around you have been in the industry for 20 plus years. They have more experience than you. They have PhDs, they have higher education, they're running their own companies. It can be a bit intimidating when you don't see others that look like you physically, haven't been on the same path as you. It can be intimidating, it can be lonely, it can be isolating, but I hope that everyone can find strength and comfort and inspiration in knowing that you're not out of place, you're making space, and you being in that room, although there may not be many that look like you at that time, you're in position to make room for others. You're in position to open the door for people who will come after you. And that should give you a sense of purpose and reassure you and give you strength to have confidence, be who you are, and make these connections, because you will change the world with each connection that you make, no matter how small. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for hearing me, for listening to these tips. I hope you all apply them and have confidence, and don't let imposter syndrome take over you. Have confidence. You got this, and we will all change the world together.